This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
There is no hood like parenthood. Hi, I'm Kanika Chadda Gupta. I'm a former CNN journalist, mom of 3, including twins, and host of That's Total Mom Sense, the podcast. Now, if I had $1 every time I heard, gee, you have your hands full. On my show, I interview change makers on their life lessons, legacy, and superpower of intuition, which I call our Mom Sense and Dad Sense. I've had the privilege of working with Mom 2.0, March of Dimes, and the White House, and have had some pretty amazing parents on my show.
Hey, what's up? I'm Kelly Rowland.
Hi, this is Chelsea Clinton.
It's me, Bobby Brown. Can't wait to share my story.
That's Total Mom Sense is a production of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube so you never miss an episode. To join my tribe, visit that'stotalmomsense.com and follow me on Instagram at Kanika Chadda Gupta. Now let's dive into today's episode. You know how I'm always advocating for trusting your mom sense. Well, here's something my mom sense wishes I'd known when my kids were babies. There's actually an eating window, roughly 6 to 18 months, when babies are most open to new flavors and textures. Use it and you raise a worldly, adventurous eater. Miss it and you're negotiating with a 4-year-old over plain pasta for the next decade. That's exactly what Global is built around. It's a baby and toddler food company that makes whole meals in glass jars. Think pad thai and tikka masala, which is a household fave. These babies are introduced to diverse flavors and top allergens right from the start. And here's something I didn't know until recently. The way babies eat matters just as much as what they eat. When babies squeeze their food out of a pouch, they're actually bypassing the chewing, tasting, and oral motor development that teaches them how to eat. Spoon feeding from a jar, seeing the food, smelling it, experiencing the texture, that's how the whole learning and sensory process works. And the glass jars means 0 microplastics leaching into your baby's food, which as a mom, I care so much about. I'm so glad I got to interview the founder, Erica Beth Levin, on how she conceptualized Global from a problem she faced with her 2 little eaters. And now it's here. Visit global.com, GLOBOWL, and use code MOMSENSE, MOMSENSE, for 20% off. That's global.com and my code MOMSENSE for 20% off. Bon appetit! What if starting over actually led to something extraordinary? Today's episode is rooted in wine, but is so much more. Courage, reinvention, adventure. Today I'm sitting down with Namratha Stanley. She is the author of Vineyard Melody and founder of the wine brand Solicantus. Her story takes us from Bangalore to Bordeaux. And it's one of survival and grit and all things miraculous and adventurous. So we are going to have a very poignant conversation about her life, which she shares so beautifully in her book, and learn a bit about wine too. I think this is going to be really, really eye-opening for those who are wine lovers as well, because learning from a connoisseur, there is just something so chef's kiss about it. I want to give a shout out to my dad, Papa, who made this meeting happen. So Namratha, welcome to That's Total Mom Sense.
Thank you so much, Kanika. And thank you for having me here at your podcast.
You're so welcome. So you actually met my dad first, and this never happens because we're filming in New York City and he's just outside DC. And so tell us how you two met.
Well, it's a small world when it comes to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So your dad and I connected over LinkedIn, and then we stayed in touch for a while. And last year when I came to DC to figure out my book launch and everything, I texted him. I said, I'm going to be in DC. I'll be happy to meet you. He took me out for lunch and, we spoke about wines. He's so passionate about wines.
Yes.
So we connected really, really well, and we've stayed in touch ever since. And look at what happened now.
I know. He said, Kanika, you must interview her. And after reading your book, I felt even more connected to you. But yes, Papa had a very similar story where he worked on a vineyard, studied at Studio de Beaux-Arts in Paris. And I feel like there's something so francophone, and you rarely find that in South Asians. So you have to hang on to each other.
Yes, of course.
Yes. So your life story reads like Eat, Pray, Love and from scratch, but it's your lived experience, which just has me in awe of you. Take us back to, your upbringing in Pondicherry and growing up in the family you did.
So we had, a pretty small family, nuclear family, but I was born in Bangalore and grew up all my life in Bangalore. My dad was a strict, military style person. Mm-hmm. My mother was very easygoing, and I get a lot of that from my mother. But I grew up with my sister in Bangalore, and every summer we would be sent off to Pondicherry because my dad's sister lived in Pondicherry with her husband and the kids. And that was our favorite time of the year because we would go to the sea and it was fabulous. Oh. But growing up in Bangalore was very interesting because, it's a cosmopolitan city. I had my parents. We had restrictions, of course, because, we were two girls. But yet we had that freedom, to do what we want during the day. So it was an interesting childhood that I had. Yeah.
Yes. And both of you are animal lovers. Mm-hmm. And there was an instance where you actually met a lioness up close. And I feel like we're all Sharonies in our own right. Lionesses. But what was that like as a child? Go back to that story.
I know, it's the craziest story that, when I tell people, they're like, what? But my sister was, saving animals. She loved animals a lot. I did too, but her level of loving animals was a different level. Mm-hmm. So she was in touch with a veterinary doctor, and, he told her in some conversation that, he has a lion that he had rescued and he has it in the house. He asked her, you can come over and take a look at it, because she was, interested. She asked me if I could take her there because, I would ride the motorbike. And I said, yes, I was always this kid with, was really up for an adventure. So put her at the back seat and we drive down the other part of Bangalore, almost an hour's ride.
Wow.
And go there. And, I was thinking it's a cub, like a really little tiny cub.
Yeah.
But I went there and opened the door and we see this full-grown lioness sitting in the middle of the house. And it's a small house.
My goodness.
So I was scared, but my sister sat down next to her and she was caressing the lioness, and oh my God, it was a fantastic experience.
Yes, and she was blind, right?
She was blind.
That's why
partially
she was
blind.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
She was was she sedated? She was kept in the home for that reason because she was being cared for?
Yeah, no, she was like a dog in the house,
Wow.
A pet. And she wouldn't have survived the wild. The mother had abandoned her. She was one of the kids that was abandoned. Mm-hmm. And so the dog had adopted her for a while. And then she did go into the wild, a sanctuary, not the wild. But yeah, she's no more with us. Yeah,
oh,
she had a short life. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he saved her.
Yeah, he did.
He
did. He's a fantastic person, human.
Yes, that's beautiful. Now, if you could share a more grim story, but this happened when you were with your cousins at the beach And I feel like it was very pivotal for you and, something that I know is a memory you'll take to the grave.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I was 8 years old on the beaches of Pondicherry. We were going to Pondicherry every summer.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt and uncle would take their kids and us to the beach. And this particular day, I remember it was dusk. We were all playing on the sand, the beach. And, my cousin who was standing near the waves, he said, like, come. And I run to him thinking he's found something, interesting. And I go there and I look at that little doll lying over there and I'm excited. The 8-year-old in me is excited. I pick up the doll and suddenly I'm like, oh my God, this is not a doll. This is a baby. Like I could feel the bloated belly, yes, the rotting skin. So I dropped her instantly. It was shocking to find a baby on the beach. But
and the umbilical cord clamp was still there.
Yeah. So that scene was gory, and I didn't realize as an 8-year-old why would somebody throw a baby into the sea. But as I grew up, I did understand that female infanticide was very rampant in India. And unfortunately, the government had, put in rules, but the implementation took a long time. So there were a lot of girls lost to this, especially because of dowry, because a lot of, Indian families didn't want the girl because they had to pay security reasons, with the increasing rape cases at that time. Nobody wanted a girl child, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah. There's a term in Hindi, parai, which means stranger. And they say betiyan parai hoti hain, that they're actually strangers to their own family because they're sent away to start a new one. And that always has struck me. I always felt like we didn't have that at home. And my mom was the middle of 3 girls. She didn't have that at home. And it's really, gut-wrenching to think that there's families where they are so mistreated and not equal in their parents' eyes at all.
Yeah, that's terrible. But, again, it comes down to the family dynamics and, the upbringing they had. And what they were told. It's so embedded in the society. And luckily, I think now it's reduced.
Right.
But like you said, beti parai hoti hai. I think that's very wrong because I think we are so close to our parents.
100%. Right? Yes. And I mean, we're no less, a child is a child.
Yeah.
A
girl or a boy.
Yes. And love is the one universal language. It's sad that you had to realize that at such a young age, that can happen. And did that shape you in some kind of way to feel like now I have to take care of girls? And I feel like you're involved in these efforts now.
It did, especially because, I grew up with my sister and we were very much capable just as boys.
Yeah.
And I didn't see why they didn't want the girl children. So now I feel like, everything, I have a purpose and everything that I do involves, either educating girl children or funding them for something, whether it's with my wines or my books. So and I hope to do more in the future. So my future is aligned with giving back.
Yes.
To the society, to the girls, especially.
That's wonderful. Now tell us about your courtship and marriage that ensued. When you met, his name is Moksh in the story, you said that he was had a bewitching charm to him and he's who you chose. And, that led you on a very exciting path, honestly. I feel like we can't really go back and change our kismet in any way, but you can course correct.
Of course.
But tell us about how that unfolded when you met him.
Yeah, I think I was very comfortable with the fact that he was my second cousin. He was related in the family and families knew each other. And, it was not much of an effort to get married because, both the families knew each other.
Yeah.
And there was that comfort. But what I didn't realize is that, in the Indian society, you have like a courtship period and then you move on to becoming husband and wife.
Yes.
there's no transition in between. There's no living in between, right? So what I didn't realize is, courtship is different because, we would go out and go back to our own house.
Right.
And we never lived with each other. So that phase I missed, and I didn't realize how it was to live with him and his parents, or even with him. So somewhere I feel that if I had that, maybe I wouldn't have gotten married.
Right. You would have seen the red flags, right?
Yeah.
Now their hindsight's 2020. You notice them now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time. But he was very nice. We had a great courtship period. I think sometimes it's the hunt, like, you want to have the girl, and then you have the girl, and then, it's done.
Right. Yes.
Like a trophy.
Right.
So I feel that, it was more like that because, once I got married, then, everything changed. Everything went down south. Yeah.
Okay. And can you take us back to that time? I know it was a dark period in your life, but you might be a beacon for someone who's going through it right now.
Yeah, I think that period of my life was very, very important to make me the person I am today, because I don't take anything for granted. And those 12 years that I lived in that relationship, I went through a lot of hardship, a lot of abuse, a lot of violence. I was insecure in my own house, and the place of safety, I was unsafe. And I felt that somewhere over the years, I had got comfortable with that abuse.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, which is wrong.
It's natural, though.
Yeah.
I can see how.
And I feel...
You just want to make it work.
Yeah, you just want to make it work. You don't want to rock the boat. And I tell this all the time. It's almost like, you're sitting in a boat in the ocean, and it's dark, it's cold, and you don't know where the shore is. You don't know. You have to swim. You're in the boat. It's dangerous. You might trip and fall, but you don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And it's not only me, it's my daughter with me. So either I take her and I swim to the shore and take that chance, or I stay in the boat. So I chose to stay in the boat for 12 years. And it was hard, it was scary, but I got resilient over time. And the day I was ready, I had had enough, and it started affecting my daughter, is when I woke up and said, oh my God, this is not okay.
Yeah.
And it was because of her that I left. Yeah.
So what was motherhood like in those early days? Because again, coming back to the beginning, you had a girl child. Were you accepted for that?
Well, the family wanted a boy because,
they were conservative.
Yeah, conservative family. And they loved her, nevertheless, they did love her. It's not that they mistreated her or me for anything. My husband did with me.
Yeah.
But, it was a reason. I wouldn't say it was the main reason. Maybe it was the main reason, but, I got mistreated because I had a girl.
Huh.
But my in-laws, they were very happy when my sister-in-law gave birth to a boy. And, it's different, right?
Yeah,
Families.
there was definitely a preferential.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did your bond with your daughter Shloka take shape? Because, there's just something so beautiful and visceral and just an unfolding that happens between mother and child. And in a way, Shloka saved you.
Yeah.
So tell us what you two shared.
I mean, she grew up in this family, and some point started noticing the hardships that I was going through. But I tried to protect her and keep her away as much as possible. And we had a beautiful relationship. I would read to her every night. I would take her to swim, horse riding. It was just so wonderful watching her grow up.
Yes. And what made you decide that, you were actually going to leave the house if your conservative in-laws allowed you to study, but not work as a wife? So how did you break free from that, especially when Shloka was so young?
So my in-laws didn't advocate for me to work or study, so I was confined. But what happened was that when I had my daughter and I was slipping into depression, postnatal depression.
Yes.
like most mothers,
Everyone
right?
has it. Yeah. You can call it baby blues. You can call it whatever. But given your circumstances, even more, that you felt all alone.
Absolutely.
Anyone would, go through that. But so in those days when she was young.
Yeah. So I kind of said, I'm slipping into depression. And I could feel, my heart sinking.
Yeah.
And that feeling. And I said, I must do something that's challenging to my mind. So my aunt in Germany, she couldn't speak English. So she could speak only German.
Okay.
That's my dad's brother's wife.
Uh-huh.
And I said, okay, I could learn German. And German school was a little far away. So, I couldn't sneak out of the house and come back. So I said, maybe French, because, the French school was like 10, 15 minutes drive from the house.
Yes.
And I could sneak out and come back.
Okay. This is Alliance Française.
Alliance Française.
Yeah, that's so nice. So you were able to duck out, take a class, come back. And I remember you're saying that your nanny would cover for you in a way, and you'd say, or you had to lie to her too?
Well, she didn't cover though. I just told her I'm going to the market and come back.
Yeah.
So she would take care of my daughter when I'm not there. She would put her to bed and, make sure that she's fed. So that 1 hour plus, another hour, I would say 2 hours, would give me enough time to figure out, this different world that I was, taking a peek into. I was learning about the Musée du Louvre. I was learning about the French boulangeries. I was learning so much about France.
Wow.
And it was a whole different world. I had this situation at home, but I was also going on, and learning something new.
Yes.
Right. And without my knowledge, I built up the skill that I'm using right now in France.
Right. So you became fluent in French. And your employer actually wanted you for an IT position because of the French. Tell us that. This is such a hoot.
Yeah, because after a few years, I decided, let me send out my resume because I was just sick and tired of cleaning and cooking at home.
Yeah.
I said, let me send it out. It's high time now that I was insecure because financially I was so controlled. I had no finances. So I said, I need to do something. And I sent out my resume, and one of the IT company, they called me and they said, can you come in for the interview? And I was like, why would they give me an interview? I mean, why would they want me? I had no IT background, no engineering background. I did hospitality. So it has to be something with food. And, I said, let me go. And I went for the interview. And by the end of the interview, they said they loved me because I could converse in French.
Yes.
And I was pretty fluent at that time. And they said, you need to go to Paris for a month.
Okay.
To train.
Ooh.
I was on top of the moon.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds like a vacation, not like a introductory period for workforce.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
True.
So then how did you actually decide to take the position, because you still are living in a joint family and you have to look at home and you have this opportunity at your doorstep?
Yeah. Well, actually by that time we had moved out. We were a nuclear family, moved out.
Okay.
It was just, of course, I had to convince my in-laws too and my husband, but I did. I went back that evening and I remember sitting in the balcony. He was with a friend of his and, they were talking about promotions, and because his friend's wife got promoted that day, and that was a cue, and I looked at them and I said, hey, you know what? I found this job and they are sending me to Paris for a month. I didn't ask, could I go? I just said, yes, this is the scene.
Right.
And both of them laughed at my face. They laughed and I felt so terrible as a human being. And I said, in my head, I said, I'm going to have my last laugh and I need this job more than ever.
Right. Yes. To get out of here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, they sent me papers. He was supposed to sign the papers because I didn't have an income. And the travel agent sent the papers saying, your husband you need a no objection letter from your husband.
Okay.
Which I thought was wrong.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, I gave it to him, and eventually after a lot of pestering, pleading, he signed. And it was a month's freedom for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now touching down in Paris and seeing, I feel like all the touristy things from L'Arc de Triomphe to Tour Eiffel. Like, what was going through your mind? Did you feel like you were in a novel?
I felt like I was in a dream.
Yeah.
I wanted to do everything. So I would work from 7 in the morning till 4 in the evening, and I had the evenings free. So I would take the camera and I would go and take shots of people, places, and, these monuments. And it was beautiful.
Oh,
what an experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
After coming from that to that 1 month of freedom. And that's when I actually realized that there was so much chaos in my life, and I had that freedom, and I felt that freedom. I felt for the first time.
Right.
After, I think it was about 7 or 8 years, I felt that freedom, and I said, oh my God, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, you needed to get out.
Yeah.
And you were willing to, start anew in a brand new place. I think I'm putting myself in your shoes, and, you've learned the language, you're enamored by the culture, but it's a lot to say, I am going to immigrate here.
Yeah.
That's huge.
True. Well, it was not at that time because, that time I said, but I have a child. I need to go back. I need to go back.
Right.
My dreams are later. I have responsibilities. So I went back to all my responsibilities. But what I realized over the course of the few years that I was in this marriage was, whatever I did, nobody was happy. Whatever I did, sacrifices I made, I wasn't happy, but even they were not happy. They would always find something to push back and lash back. And I somehow, at some point in, during that time, we were in danger. And I said, we can't go on. It could get really, really dangerous.
Yes.
And I had to get out. In fact, we were pushed out, which was also a reason why I got up and, took my daughter and my dog and left. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you went to your parents' place. And as you were trying to figure out your life and, moving to France, they took care of Shloka and Casper, your dog, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were angels. And I knew that my mother was very good with my daughter. In fact, she's a better,
just nurturing spirit.
Yeah, nurturing, feeding,
yes.
all of that. So I knew she was in good hands. So I didn't feel that immense mom guilt that we normally would feel.
Yeah.
But I was really scared because if there's any emergency, then, it's a long flight.
Yeah.
To come back.
Right.
So those were my concerns. But on a day-to-day basis, I knew that she would be well taken care of. And my dad was always there to support them. It was a decision I had to make, and it was really hard. At 9 to 11 years, when the child is growing, the preteens.
Yeah.
I think that's the crucial years. But I had a lot at stake because my glass was empty and I couldn't give anymore.
Right.
And I really wanted to fill up my glass to give her that confidence, that love, that care that I wanted to give her.
Right.
And somewhere I didn't have that. I was, traumatized. I got out. I had no finances, zero.
Yes.
And I had to rebuild everything from scratch.
God.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere I said, this is do or die. And when I got onto that flight, I was scared, but I said, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it work and happen.
Yes.
And it was a whole different ballgame. Yeah.
Wow. I wanted to share a personal note because my parents went through the same thing. And my dad has told me a memory he had when I was not even 2 years old, but he had an opportunity where he had to go to the States, I think to Atlanta. And it was in the middle of the night that he had to leave for his flight. And I woke up and was waving on the balcony. It was just me as a toddler. And he saw me wave, and he waved from his cab that he took to the airport. And my mom also left. She wanted to move to the States where she had family and was pursuing her master's in psychology and later her PhD. And, being on the receiving end, we're also two sisters. It's me and my sister, Monica. My parents taking that leap of faith and immigrating to a brand new world for our betterment has completely changed the trajectory of my life. Yeah. And I am so glad they did it. And I think as a young child, you obviously don't realize these things, but I'm sure Shloka feels the same way.
Yeah, she thanks me now.
Yes,
You're right.
that mom made a good decision. It was obviously really hard for you, but you were thinking about the big picture. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's not easy for a child. Like, I remember, I don't know how you felt.
Yeah.
Because, it's not easy to see your parents go away.
Right.
I remember Shloka cried, but she cried in silence with, she didn't show her tears.
And she was older. Yes. Yeah.
She was 9 years old.
Yes.
But her whole world was devastated. Like, she lost her bed, her toys, her whole space, her home. And then we moved to my parents' house. But she had lost even her father,
Right.
She had seen him in a very, scary way. And then she lost me because I was leaving.
Yeah.
So her whole world had come crashing down. And I knew that. But I said, we'll make it. We'll make it happen. Or I stay back. But I took a chance. And I'm so glad it paid off.
Yes. And, that's the good thing about joint families.
Yeah.
So your parents are going to love her as their own.
Yeah, they do.
And I had my Masi and my Nani with me. So yeah, that is actually what we should try to recreate as much as we can, this village for our kids. It's so few and far between in these days. Okay, so now tell us about what you first did in Paris from your IT job onwards.
Well, I went back to Bangalore and I worked for a little while, but, there was a lot of resistance to the work and it just got very violent. The more I wanted to become financially independent, the more violence increased. And at some point I had to give up. I said, have it your way. Right? But nobody was happy and things were not the same. And I had to make a choice. And I did that. And I'm thankful that I did that because I don't know what would have happened. And then I moved on to sitting at the table with my parents and my sister and her husband. And everybody were really, really worried about me. But my whole family came together and they said, what would you like to do? The comfort that they gave me. They said, would you like to go abroad and learn something? Would you like to do university? Would you like to work? What would you like to do? And my father said, why don't you take up a job in a school? Because my daughter was going to school. He said, they always want French-speaking teachers.
Right.
And my sister said, she's much more capable than that. You know how big sisters are.
Right. They look out for you. Yes.
So she said, get the hell out of here.
Yes.
Because he's going to trouble you. And she was right. So she made me sit. And I remember she made me open the laptop and she said, look at a university that you can go to. Do it in India or abroad. Go abroad. It would be much easier, French, culinary, a little of wines. Go abroad. So I looked up universities and I found one business school in Bordeaux in France. And I said, maybe that sounds great. It's a wine MBA.
Yes.
And I said, that could be amazing.
Right.
After all the trauma I had been through, I didn't want to do something in finance.
Right. Yes.
So I said, this could
go back
be
to your
interesting.
hospitality roots as well. Yes.
So I applied even without thinking that I will get a seat there because they had a lot of criteria. And then finally I got the yes. And I had mixed feelings because one, I was leaving my daughter back.
Yeah.
And the excitement of, finding this whole new life. Like you have a slate, it's a clean slate. You start from scratch.
Yeah, totally.
So you can rewrite your own life. Like, right? You start with nothing. And then I wrote it for the last 9 years, how I wanted it to be.
Wow. That is so encouraging. So now let's get into the wine. It's such a complex science. And, my dad's a wine connoisseur and has studied for the sommelier exams. And it's its own field of work. And I feel like I'm completely removed from it. So please educate, especially those who are wine lovers listening in about it.
Well, wine is, I would say it's a very convivial drink when I compare it to whiskey or, vodka or gin or any other drinks.
Yeah.
I would call wine the social glue because, when you pop that bottle, that feeling is different.
Yes.
And you're sharing. You got to finish the bottle. You're sharing, right?
And it's over a meal. It's not to get drunk.
Of course. Yeah. It's over a meal. You're meeting people. People get promotions. They make friendships that last for life. And I feel like wine is like an ocean. You never stop learning.
Ah, wow.
Right.
Yes.
This is what drives me to do better in the wine, because I never know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And every day I meet somebody and we share, and I learn a new thing about wine.
Wow. Tell us some facts, because I am completely fascinated that, those who are real aficionados can, do a whiff and say, oh, this was 2010 in this such and such region. And it's like, how do they know the grapes so acutely from a smell or their palate? It's amazing.
Oh yeah, that requires a lot of training, Kanika. It's over the years that I've had groups of blind tasting groups.
Yeah.
Like each of us bring a bottle of wine and it's hidden, so nobody knows what's in there.
Right. Wow.
So we taste the wine and we say where it comes from, which vintage, what grape variety, sometimes the soils, sometimes, the climate.
And this is just for Bordeaux, knowing the wines, or from
we do.
Valley
we have themes. We do, sometimes New World wines and sometimes Old World wines.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Bordeaux. It could be German wines, Mosel wines. It could be, we do themes. So we have we do from Italy.
Yes.
Right. So it could be like Tuscans. So, and then we learn about the appellations and we get to know a lot about those things. So yeah, it's the groups that I'm involved in, which is so, I would have loved to have your father next door to me.
You guys could exchange notes and anecdotes.
It would have been so amazing.
That's so cool. Oh my goodness. But for those who are listening, what are some fun facts that we should know that maybe, we don't already about wine?
So the fun facts, nobody knows everything about wine.
Right.
So even your sommelier at the restaurant, he wouldn't know everything.
Yeah.
That's a secret.
I love it. Yeah. It's too vast. It's too vast and then what are some of your favorite varieties and why?
Well, I say if I had many kidneys, then I would have not champagne for breakfast. I would have Riesling Cabernets for breakfast.
Okay.
And then I would have champagne, of course, in the night.
Yeah.
And I love the Merlots. Merlots are very elegant in style. I liked a very old aged Cabernet and a Merlot blend, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the varieties like Viognier, which has more fat. And it's interesting. Sauvignon Blanc is my all-time favorite because, it's easy drinking. My Solicantus White has Sauvignon Blanc, Sauvignon Gris, Muscadelle, and Semillon, which are very aromatic and very easy drinking. But, it's quite intense on your nose. So I tell people that it's almost like, you close your eyes, you sniff it, and it's almost like walking into a garden full of fruits and flowers.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
I love it. And tell us how your brand came to be, because even that is its own feather in your cap that you have done this.
Thank you. Solicantus came about because I didn't get a job.
Okay, yes. You got to be resourceful.
Yeah. So I didn't get a job even after applying for so many months. And I decided to go into entrepreneurship. And my sister's husband, who was an investment advisor, he said, you're 37. I was 37 at that time. Mm-hmm. He said, you have the capability of becoming an entrepreneur. So he really handheld me through that phase. And, I got my logo out, my merchant company, Wine Equation out. And then I was thinking about what am I going to do? What services I'm going to offer? Mm-hmm. Tours, maybe wines. And then I realized that all the Bordeaux labels, wines that came out from Bordeaux, had these white labels with chateaus at the background. And I said, it's about art, right?
Right.
Making wine is an art. So I really wanted to stand apart and said, I'll make a wine. And I met Corinne at that time, and, I was working with her, and she's so passionate about it. So she started teaching me a little bit about wine, and the idea came through when I was speaking with a friend. He said, I thought you're making your own label of wine.
Oh, wow. Yes.
I said, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I dived into it, even without realizing that you need so much money to build a brand.
Right. Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So I dived into it and I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I started rotating whatever came in,
Mm-hmm.
which was a lot of learning for me.
Wow. So tell us where your vineyard is and the process from going from grape to bottle.
Well, the vineyards, I work with 3 winemakers. One is in Pomerol, and one is in Entre-deux-Mers for the white, and then Côte de Bordeaux for the red. They're all really, really passionate winemakers and family-owned small vineyards.
Nice.
I don't own any of these vineyards,
Yeah.
but I source the grapes. I do everything with them. So I'm very fortunate to be working with them. And I
Wow.
always think wine needs to be family owned. Yeah. And they make it old school way.
Yes, yes. And what happens with the vineyards? Like, walk us through that process too. I think it's so fun.
Yeah, it's a backbreaking process.
Yeah, yes.
So you go in, test the ripeness, and when it's the right time, you pick, you harvest it. And the harvest is super fun because, you have these people around you and you have these lunches and dinners, which is so much fun. You're singing, it's fun.
And then
if
the
it's-
stomping happens. It's actual still.
Well, not really.
Okay, yeah.
The stomping
do
doesn't
some myth
happen.
busting. It's fine. So you're not in these big tubs.
It's not walk in the clouds.
Yeah.
It's not.
Wow.
It's
wow.
if you save your finger from getting cut while harvesting,
My
then you
goodness.
move on to getting them on the sorting table and then picking the right grapes. There's so many technicalities, like, you do it on the sorting table by hand, or you do it by the laser optical sorting.
Wow.
There's so many different stages to that. Or you put them in the sugar bath and then, you sort it out. And then you crush it. They get crushed. You have big machines.
Yes.
We all
Yeah.
have
No,
big
we have
machines
factories
for that.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
And then they go on into the vat. And then, of course, yeast is added. Some people use indigenous grapes, yeast.
Okay.
But we also add yeast into it. And then,
Mhm.
of course, you let it ferment, and then you do the pump over 3 or 4 times in a day, depending on the amount of color that you want. We do it for the reds, but not the whites, right?
Yeah.
The whites, we keep the skins on. We do something called maceration pelliculaire.
Uh-huh.
We keep the skins on for 24 hours, and that gives it a lot of flavor and aromas.
Wow.
And that's why my wines have amazing, it's great on the nose.
Yeah. It's aromatic. Oh, that's lovely.
And the flavors also are pretty intense. So that happens. And then, in 14 days, there are different tanks, huge ones. And and the wine is out, and then it's barreled. The reds are in the barrel for 12 months. And now, you don't want to have too many tannins in the wine,
Right.
because, that was the Parker time. And
Yes.
right now, everybody wants, younger generation, they don't want to keep and drink
Yes.
wine.
Right.
They want to drink wine now.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. And they don't want it with a lot of tannins that's gripping, right?
Right.
So we age it for much lesser, 12 months.
Okay.
And then it gets that smoothness, it gets the right amount of that vanilla flavors, the tobacco, and it makes the wine, round and nice.
Yes.
So that's exciting. And then, we bottle it, and and it needs to settle down a little bit for a few months, and then you start selling them.
Oh, I love it. And tell us about the brand name, because it's Latin.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kanika.
Uh-huh.
So I was looking as an MBA graduate from, marketing graduate. I was thinking what could be the name of my wine brand. And you always learn that, one single word is always better, or 2 words is better.
Yes.
So I went for Latin because Latin is universal. And it had a very beautiful meaning. So soli means soil,
Yes.
and cantus means melody. So it's the melody, it's the joy of the soil in the bottle. So it really spoke to me. And I
Yes.
said that could be then the name. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I love that. And then we see Melody manifest again as your book title.
That's right,
Vineyard
yeah.
Melody. I love that. There's the 5 S's when you're first sampling a wine. And I want to make this akin to the 5 S's that we learn when you're a new mom. So there is this book that I love called Happiest Baby on the Block. And a friend recommended it, and I've passed along to many new moms. But the S's for a baby are swaddle, put them on their side or their stomach, shush, swing, and suck. That's what babies need to put them to sleep. Now, humans and wine is different. Of course. So walk us through the 5 S's for wine, starting with the swirl.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the wine tasting steps, you could do it anyway, but it's usually you see the wine.
Yes.
Right? And then you look at it, you see the color of the wine. Sometimes if the wine is cloudy, then that could be spoiled. So you kind of gauge whether it's clear, it's bright, and it's good to drink. That's an important step. And also, while you see the wine, you also determine the age of the wine, because if it has a little bit of brown at the rim, then it's an aged wine.
Ah, nice. Right? So it should leave a little stain.
Yeah,
on the glass, like a little.
Not the rims, but the corners. You find, it tends to become a little brown.
Okay,
towards the end,
right?
So that's the first step, and then first is to see, and then it just to swirl.
Yes.
So you swirl the wine and you let the aromas come out of the glass. Then you sniff it. So that's the third one. You sniff it. You sniff it to determine if it's great on the nose. What are the aromas? Is it red fruits, black fruits? And does it have vanilla? Does it have tobacco? What does it have? And does it have tertiary notes? Does it have secondary notes? The tertiary notes, usually if it's an aged wine, you have leather, you have forest floor, and you have so many different aromas in there. But I think that it's a very crucial step. Mm-hmm. This step will want to make you drink the wine.
Right.
So if it's bad on the nose and you don't get anything.
Yes.
No. So you feel invited to take a sip. So then you sip it, and then you literally rinse it around your mouth, and you test for tannins, you test for acidity, you test for the balance, and then you say, okay, this is a good wine or not. Right? And then you swallow, you savor it. So those are the 5 steps.
Oh, I love it. So I always ask my guests what their mom sense moment is. And by that, I mean a time that you just trusted your gut instinct. And somehow I feel we become even more attuned to it when you become a parent, what the child's needs are and what's just going to create a greater good. So give us a mom sense moment. It could be from back in the day or recently that you can recall.
Yeah, I think when my daughter turned 16 and 17 is when, the battle for identity was happening.
Yes.
Right? I felt there was a lot of friction between us, which was, very new to me, because I thought, okay, my daughter comes to France and everything's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
You're going on with life. But suddenly you reach this phase where everything becomes a battle. And at first I was taken aback. And then I said, what's happening? And then I started reading. I started speaking to other parents. Is this normal? And, most of the parents said that this is a very normal phase. And it's great that she's doing this because, it would be abnormal not to do that.
Yes. Not to give you pushback.
Yeah.
We all did.
So I said that, and then is when I really started understanding my daughter and said, oh, okay. It's all right. We'll work through it.
Yeah.
I get it. So that changed everything.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I love that. Yeah. And that's something that you have to keep rediscovering over time.
Of course.
She's blossoming into her own young woman, and you just want the best for her because you've been there yourself.
Yeah. And she's an amazing human herself because she loved music since she was 5 years old. She would sing all the time.
Yeah.
And by 8, I kind of started seeing that passion was growing and not diminishing. And she played golf. So golf and music were two things that were inseparable.
Okay. Yeah.
And at 8, when I saw so we did the first recording when she was 8.
Okay.
And then she soon continued. And now she's writing songs. And
wow.
She's doing better and better.
That's amazing. I love that. And you're encouraging it. You know? Yeah. That's so great. I wanted to do a little French practice with you because, again, those of you who are listening who remember your high school French, it's fun. And you actually went down and studied it. I think that's just so commendable. I'm going to practice, and please don't mind. So, je m'appelle Kanika. J'ai étudié français au lycée. Mon père parle couramment. Ma tante et ma cousine habitent à Paris, à 3e arrondissement.
She's doing well. She's good at this.
Now you speak, because it's so fun. I love speaking French with anyone I meet, who, especially those who are fluent, because then they can quiz me.
Yeah, no, c'est très bien, très bien. Et je t'adore, j'adore ton père. Et c'est magnifique que la vie a nous apporté plein de choses, plein de bonheur. Et on a croisé nos voies, et je suis très contente d'être ici. Et oui, voilà.
Oh, merci
La vie est belle. La vie est belle.
La vie est belle. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, now on to a rapid fire as we close out. This one was ChatGPT, by the way, so don't blame me for the trite questions. It asks red or white, and I already was like, how can you ask a connoisseur red or white? It just feels like so plain to ask that. But if you were to choose a variety, because you produce red and white wines,
both,
is there one that you gravitate towards most?
Not really. It's like choosing a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
Right?
They both have their...
So, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It
I love
depends
that.
on the
I knew
food,
that was
though.
going to happen.
It depends on the food, but...
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It depends on what you're pairing it with.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that answer. One word to describe Bordeaux.
Serenity.
Mm.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, just living, I had 5 months of vineyard, living in the vineyard in Margaux, and my windows opened up to the most bucolic vineyards of the world.
Wow.
And just standing there, actually showering.
Yeah.
And watching the blue sky with, cotton clouds and the carpet
Of greenery.
of green
Yes.
wines. That was the most amazing time of my life. So Bordeaux is serenity, peace. I would always want to be in the vineyards. Though now I live in the city, but sometime when my daughter goes away from my nest, I'm going to probably move into the vineyards. Yeah.
And we'll visit you.
Yes, yay.
I would love
That's gonna
to
be
visit.
fun.
Yes, I've never been. That's just beautiful. What's the best beginner wine? Again, such a trite question, but if you were to distill it and say, okay, this is a good place to start for someone who... Yeah,
I think with the whites, you could do, if the beginning, they could do a Sauvignon Blanc. It could never go wrong.
Yeah.
A Riesling Cabernet would never go wrong if they like Indians have a sweeter palate.
Yes.
Or a red, a Merlot, Pinot Noir. I think these are the wines you could...
Full-bodied.
Yeah.
What's one wine rule that's overrated?
Ooh, the rating system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is something that I don't believe in, and I'm not against it because I have so many friends who rate wines.
Yeah.
But I think that it's overrated. And I think that each of our palate is so different.
Right.
And the wine that I like, you may not like it. And to give it a number and say this is the best wine, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yes. It's so subjective.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cheese?
Oh, well, I'm moving towards veganism, but I would say Conte.
Okay, nice.
Conte, yeah, I love it.
And is there a song that comes to mind, at this season of your life that you're like, this is my jam?
Oh, yeah. This song really talks to me because it's Mariah Carey, Hero. Mm-hmm. Because there were phases in my life I wanted to be saved. I wanted somebody else to come and say, it's okay, I'll take care of this. Yes. But that saving didn't come.
Oh.
And the person who saved me was me.
Yes.
Right? And it took a lot of strength within me. And to discover that strength that I had within me was amazing. Like, I would give anything to do that again, to discover that strength. And I think each one of us, we have that strength, and to discover that in times of challenges, and then to move forward in spite of all those obstacles is really, really important. Yeah.
Wow. That's such a full circle statement, because my 8th grade graduation song was Hero.
Oh,
we all sang it as a chorus.
Gives me the chills.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I haven't heard anyone mention that.
Yeah.
I still remember, like, it was like, there's a hero.
Yeah.
When you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I have to go back and listen to it in the New York streets. Thank you. My sister and I both trained, and she's like a maestro on the piano. But we would be, much like Shloka, always singing in the home.
That's amazing. You must
Always.
meet Shloka.
Yes, I would love that. And I'd love for my kids to meet her.
Of course.
A Didi figure right away.
I'm sure they'll have
You've inherited a Didi figure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a wine that fits your personality right now? Like, in this chapter?
I think that the Merlots and the Pinot Noirs. I would say, because Pinot Noirs, they're delicate on the outside, but they're very strong on the inside. And I feel that's very much me.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. And what do you hope people will feel when they read Vineyard Melody and when they try Solicantus?
So I think I'm hoping with, the book and the wine, that the takeaways that people get is they live life with a purpose. Because we all wake up to do our jobs, because we have to do that.
Yeah.
But also to have in mind that, each of our lives could have a purpose, and to go and reach out and, do different things in your life, because life is short.
Yes.
Right. And I always say this, that wake up every day to follow a passion or a purpose, and that will give you the true meaning of your existence.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like it's our dharma. Yeah. It's our life calling. And sometimes you know exactly what that is at age 6. And sometimes you're 45 and you figure it out, know? And but you have to listen to it.
Correct.
It's a shame. It's such a pity when you don't.
Yeah.
Well, this was so enlightening and so heartfelt. I'm so glad you joined us on the show today.
Thank you, Kanika.
Anything else you'd like to share, Namratha?
Well, I'm very touched to be here, and thank you, Kanika, for having me here and, talking about my story. We have stories all across the world, right? But, to give somebody a platform to talk about it and touch lives, it's a privilege. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
I'm running this giveaway. So I don't know when this podcast comes up, but in a couple of days, the giveaway is going to end. But whoever buys the book will also enter into the giveaway. And the person who wins can have like a 2-night, 3-day stay at a beautiful chateau in Bordeaux, the place where I stayed. And
oh my goodness. That's such a treat.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. I'm excited for the winner because, and plus they get a whole day wine tour with my partner chateaus.
Oh,
so a whole day chauffeur driven.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where do we find you and your book and all of it? Like
so,
your website?
Yeah. So the book can be found in every website, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, every bookstore. And the wines, of course, can be found. It's not yet in the US, and I am looking for a distributor, the right distributor.
Yes, yes.
So hopefully, this year we'll get it in, and it's exciting.
Okay, and your website where we can follow
you. And my website is www.namratha Namratha Stanley STANLEY.com, and you'll find all the information about my wines, my books, everything there.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Namratha. Thanks for listening to this episode of That's Total Mom Sense. You can listen to the audio version wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for That's Total Mom Sense. You can learn more about my guests by logging on to www.thatstotalmomsense.com. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, where I'm most active on social media. My handle is @Kanika Chadda Gupta. And if you have ideas for show topics or guests you can't wait to have on the show, write to me at thatstotalmomsense@gmail.com. And lastly, please rate, review, and subscribe to That's Total Mom Sense if you haven't already. Thanks for being in my tribe.